Hello everyone! Welcome back to Raize the Standard.
My Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come in this place. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Won't you please come?
I'm your host, Aisha.
And I'm your host, Ka-Rin.
Today's topic is projection and comparison.
So what is projection and comparison? So projection's definition in psychology is a defense mechanism that involves unconsciously attributing one's own thoughts, feelings, or behaviors onto another person or group. And comparison in psychology is the process of evaluating oneself, one's abilities or opinions by comparing them to those of others.
So, passive aggressiveness, me and my sister were talking last night, and we were just saying how sometimes when people often project and they compare, they get a little passive aggressive. And so there's a way to handle that as well, right? We were taught that sometimes people aren't always loved right, or they aren't always taught how to love, or weren't always being loved right? So what that means to us is that when they were either younger, they saw different patterns of their parents not in a negative light, but in an ungodly way, and they weren't taught that these ways weren't wrong, right? So it just allows us to have more compassion on those who do project.
When people start acting differently towards you because but they do it in subtle ways, as she said, they do it in subtle ways to the point where you're truly wondering, like, okay, is something wrong? Or, and then it's like, sometimes if you ignore it, it's like, it gets worse and then worse and worse and builds up. And now, it's visible to everybody. It's visible to a lot of people that this person is, there's a problem with this person, but it's like, you can't prove that there's problems. Like, you can't prove a passive aggressiveness. You can't prove that, this person's tone was this, or you can't prove, that this was said, like that, or because they'll say, certain things like, oh, your hair is nice, and it was passive aggressive, or they'll say something like, you did that well, and it's passive aggressive. So it's like, how do you handle, passive aggressiveness as a form of projection? Like that, these people are projecting their passive aggressiveness onto you. Like they'll say that you said this, or you did this, or you're the one that's doing this and that. And it's like, how do you navigate that? Just stay yourself. Just be yourself. Just show up as yourself. And that's the one thing that I've been doing, honestly, I feel like my entire life, literally, our entire lives are full of us just showing up. Because our whole lives was just us showing up as ourselves, being ourselves, and just, not allowing people to, project so easily, rather easily. Because I remember I had a lot of, you can feel projection. You can feel projection. I know everything is spiritual. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, everything is spirit.
Literally. And you can
If God is a spirit,
exactly.
So are we.
Exactly.
Everything's a spirit.
You can feel it. It's the room changes, the temperature, cold, hot, whatever. It's not no ghost. It's not like that. It's not no poltergeist crap. It's the Holy Spirit. And it's the Holy Spirit telling you within yourself that you can feel the room change. But anyways, so you can feel when people are projecting. So projecting
goes back to discernment too.
Discernment too. Yes, projection is you have to have discernment too. It's like you can feel when somebody's project, like it's almost like you can hear their thoughts. They're talking to you, they'll say something and you can hear or you can feel, you know, what they think that you're gonna say. And then if you say something along the lines of what they thought you were gonna say, and now boom, all of a sudden that's, oh yeah, I thought you were gonna say that. Oh yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. Oh yeah, you're that one, or you're this one. I just recently had somebody literally close to me say something about me being something that I was not, and I was like, I sat back because I was with my family, and I sat back and I was like, huh?
She's provoking me. She wants me to get ghetto. She wants me to get ratchet. And I could.
Yeah.
I really was like,
we both heard it. And we literally was like, wait, who is she talking to?
Who is she talking to? And about what?
And that's not even our character.
Okay.
That's another
go ahead. And I might come off as, you know, what's it called? I might have come off strong.
You're just
exactly.
You know who you are. That's what strong is. When you know who you are and you're not sorry about it.
Like that.
You're not
and
sorry
it's like,
about it.
Oh my gosh. And don't even get me started into the big girl aspect of it. But anyway, so
keep going.
So this person, and I wasn't too surprised at, you know, the what they said or why they said it, because this person has viewed me that way for a minute.
Time.
Like they didn't have to say it, I just knew. But it's like when they want to be what you already are, it's like
that's good.
It comes off and then it's like when they try to emulate it, right? They try to emulate it, and then somebody tells them, oh,
it doesn't work for them.
It's not working
because
that's
it's not them.
You.
That's a gang sign? You're in the gang now? Be yourself. Your mom holy, bro. You went to church. Be yourself.
That's good. Like, I like that.
Like, bro,
I like that. Go ahead.
Like it's heavy on the now you're projecting what that person said to you onto me, and you're trying to make me be that. No, I flow in my character.
Yes.
I flow in who I am. It's like you have to find out who you are and flow in who you are.
Yes.
So it's like it's tough, because it's like when you feel their projection, it's not your responsibility to take care of them. It's not your responsibility to coddle their feelings. It is not your responsibility to do anything with their passive aggressiveness or their projection or their comparison of your personalities. It's not your position to do any of that. It's not even your position to care.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that? How about them apples?
Because a lot of the times I don't care. But the only time I care is when I gotta take a step back and I'm like, wait, did they really just say that? Like you, if you're saying certain things now, like you're saying it, and especially in front of people, and then you're trying to make it seem like that's who I am. That's the type of stuff
I love
I'm like,
that. Yeah. That's
like you
good.
can try me in private, sure,
right?
But when you're trying to do it in front of people, it's
downplay
like,
my character,
like, yeah,
that is good.
Different.
I love what you just
said.
Weird. First of all, you went ham. I love what she just said. She don't apologize.
No.
That was so good. I love that. She just touched bases on a lot of things that I was just like, wait. That is so true. No, that's the truth. Sometimes people, and that's the comparison aspect of it as well. When people often want to be who you are and they admire who you are and they love who you are, but don't like the fact that they don't have those attributes, or not even that.
They could have those attributes.
They could, but not even that. It's the way they see people. Right. It's the way they see people address you, or even how they handle you, and they look at you and they're like, oh wait, if she's getting that response, maybe I could too by being the same way. But that's not how it works, especially if that's not who you are. What I love is that, and we're talking about character. If we're talking about character, I gotta bring it back to my parents, because they're our biggest supporters. They saw, what I love about my parents is that they saw what was in us, what God put in us, and they just wanted to bring it out. Like kindness, right? My parents see that we're kind people, so they compliment us in a way that's
Cultivates
yeah, that
kindness.
cultivates the true real kindness. All the while they did correct us, and don't get us wrong, they corrected us all the time. They weren't yes parents.
No.
They corrected us a lot.
We need to stop this, but go ahead.
No, yes.
Sorry,
Anyway, but yeah, they corrected us a lot. But what I love is that they saw certain attributes that the Lord has put in us from young, and they wanted us to, they wanted to cultivate it, and they wanted us to
grow in it.
Grow. Thank you. They wanted us to grow in what the Lord has given us already, right? Because he said in his word, and this is a good one, he said in his word already that before you were formed in the womb, I knew you, right? He already knows what he puts in us. He already knows what's gonna happen. He knows everything. So the fact that, our parents seen what God has already put in us, and they wanted us to grow more into it. They cultivated a lot. They complimented. They said, hey, I like the way you're doing this, that, and the third. But that just grew our character even more. Well, in Matthew 25 and 23, 5:23 to 24, is basically how we reconcile with, how we make peace and how we follow peace with all men, right? It's just the gist of it, right? It says, if you cannot, right, if you and your brother have an ought against each other, right, reconcile yourselves before you bring anything to the Lord, right? Before not anything to the Lord, of course you can go to your brother to God about, whoever is, concerning you. Make sure that you don't present anything to the Lord unless you have reconciled with your brethren, because God is so big on forgiveness. I love this scripture because it just helps me to humble myself and apologize sometimes. And I love this. It says, when people project, they don't know your real feelings. So when people project, it's better safe than sorry to just ask. Just talk to whoever you see has a problem. Sometimes it's good to discern. Ask the Lord for discernment, spiritual discernment. Ask him, okay, I see such and such doesn't like me, or doesn't have has a problem with me, or doesn't, want to talk to me. Lord, what is that about? Because I can't recall me doing anything. And sometimes you just never know. You're always going to offend somebody, right? Especially if we live and we walk with God. Jesus was offensive to those who didn't know him. He was offensive. To the Pharisees, he was offensive. They did not like him for nothing, for jack, right?
He delivered somebody on the Sabbath.
Exactly.
Knowledge is power.
Seize him.
But as long as you walk with God, Jesus, he instructed us, right? Already, he told us, he said, if they don't like you, if they don't like me, they're not going to like you, right? So as long as you walk with Jesus, people are not always going to like you, and you have to be okay with that. And that's another time for talking. I guess projection and comparison can go along with rejection. Because they go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. But he also gave us an antidote for it, right? He said, you're gonna get rejected. You're gonna go through it. People are not gonna like you. They're gonna say all kinds of things about you. But he said, right? He says, but I say to you, this is Matthew 5 and 43, 44. But I say to you, Lou, love your enemies, bless those who curse you, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you. I have another story, because especially when you walk with God, there's obviously favor on your life, and it's up to you whether you know and accept that favor. Right? Whether you know there's favor on your life. I was in my room one time. I think this was a couple of nights ago, and I was thinking, right? A Christian who doesn't know what they have, they're just like, is it meat for the slaughter? Anyway, a Christian who doesn't know that they are favored by God, a Christian who says that they know God and they love God and they follow Jesus and they know Jesus, but don't know the promises that he has given, doesn't know that he loves you no matter what you do, no matter how bad you messed up, right? A Christian who doesn't know their favor, the favor that they have with God, right? Is a dangerous Christian. Because that means, or even their gifts, right? Because then that just means that it can go both ways. They're a Christian, but their gifts can be used for, you know,
either side.
Either side, because they don't know what or how to hone in on their gifts, right? It can go for either way.
I like that, because okay, so the gift of, and I just going through the musical gift, because that's something that was God gifted to us. So there's musical gift that we have. What I'm not conflicted in it. I know what I want to do with my voice, but the only thing I'm conflicted in is how to use it, how to when to use it. I rather. So the thing is, when you have the gift of music, right, and you're a conflicted person or a conflicted Christian, that gift was given to you by God in order to sing to his people, sing his praises. That's to praise and honor him. But a lot of Christians don't do that with their voices, or rather, they're Christians, but they don't, you wouldn't know that they were Christian. Like, they grew up Christian, right? But they're singing secular music, they're making secular music, and they're making music that's not all secular music is demonic or bad, but they're making music, they're making secular music in the sense that it's not glorifying God. And it's like that. You have the gift that God gave you to, to be, to glorify him with your voice, but you're using it for the world. So it's like, that's what she's saying as far as being a Christian and you don't know your gift.
It's a dangerous place to be. Exactly. It's a dangerous place to be. Don't ask the Lord to help you even use this gift. How does he want you to use this gift? Because there are times when you have a gift and you just don't know how to use it. You just probably weren't even discipled, right? I don't know. You probably weren't even taught, right? I don't know. But it's a dangerous place to be, and you have a gift and you don't know, the gift that's in you or the favor of God that's on you. The enemy, he loves that. He's like, oh, she doesn't know what she has. She doesn't know that she's,
favored by God.
Yep, favored, blessed, and highly favored. She doesn't know that she's a royal
amazing.
priesthood. She doesn't know that she's peculiar. She doesn't know that she just thinks she's just getting rejected and these people don't like her, and she's taking it. I'm going to take the opportunity to make her feel some type of way and make her feel very sad and depressed about her rejection. So let me do that. And then you get very sad and depressed about your rejection, and then next thing you know, story time. I had these two coworkers whom I loved very dearly. Both of them were they're just amazing. They were just amazing coworkers. But they didn't like each other. So because they didn't like each other and there was an ongoing beef, one of the other coworkers automatically assumed, I'm going to say coworker 1 and coworker 2. So coworker 1 assumed that I didn't like her anymore because of coworker 2. So my relationship with coworker 2 seemed a lot closer than coworker 1. And so it led coworker 1 to believe that I didn't like her anymore, if you catch where I'm going. So one time I encountered coworker one and she gave me the cold shoulder. And I was sorely confused. I was like, what is going on here? I thought we was just talking a few days ago and all of a sudden, cold shoulder. But that's a little bit of projection that I've experienced as far as, in my life. I've experienced way more, but that one kind of is a little significant because it's one that really made me realize what projection was. What I would have liked for, and I don't blame coworker one at all, because not to a certain extent. I don't blame coworker one to a certain extent because I would have liked for coworker one to have talked to me. Maybe we all could have worked it out together, honestly. I knew nothing. Well, not to say that I knew nothing of the situation. I really didn't care for the situation or why they didn't like each other. I really didn't care. But they didn't need to involve me. But the kind of person that I am, I'm very happy, go Skippy lucky, right? I don't like saying lucky, but I'm very happy, go Skippy blessed. A lot of people don't know how to handle me because I'm very different, very unique. Every person that I come across, they're like, this is true kindness. How do we handle true kindness? I don't know. So they think automatically that they're going to get rejected, I suppose. I don't know. But, I don't blame coworker one because she probably has dealt with rejection before. So the way that I responded to her rejection, because, sometimes when people often are rejected, they reject those before they can get rejected. How I responded to her rejection basically was, I was like, okay, she needs some space. I'm not the type of person, unless I really, really, absolutely, not saying I don't value what we have, but if it didn't get deeper than what it like, as far as our relationship, if it didn't get deeper and we didn't, move forward towards growing this relationship, then I'm obviously going to take a step back and I'm not going to go after you as much as you think I am. Because that's a boundary. I'm just going to give you your space. I'm going to automatically assume you don't want it so you can, stay where you are, as far as I'm going to give you your space if that's what you're asking for physically. Because sometimes I'm more of a actions speak louder than words type of person. If you show me that you don't want it, then that's okay. And the Lord is kind of he's the same way too. He loves worship from our lips, and he created worship from our lips. Like, he created our lips, for worship. But he's more of like, I gotta see it than you actually saying it, because he knows the nature of flesh, right? Our flesh are liars. We're liars by nature. We were born in sin and shaped in iniquity. We're liars by nature. So God is like, that's why he tests us too. He's like, I gotta see what you're, if you're gonna actually, say what you're about. That's what the Lord. But that's basically how I handle certain people as well. If you show me that you're not, into it, I'm gonna take a step back and I'm gonna be like, okay, that's fine.
As far as projection and comparison go, there's also a form of, hearing with your heart, or hearing things with the way you've been healed.
If you're a broken person, you're not going to hear a healthy compliment, or you can't tell when it's coming from a healthy place. Oftentimes, oftentimes when people who have been hurt or who are broken, they are insecure people, but they're also untrusting people. Like, they can't trust easily, and that's okay, because the word does tell us not to put our trust in man, but to put our trust in God. So, but that's just the thing. Are you putting your trust in God? Because if you're broken, you have to be able to trust that he'll heal you. You have to be able to trust that he has your best interest at heart, no matter what. You have to be able to trust that he knows and he has good plans towards you. But basically
and it's also another thing of not thinking that everything is, I know this video is about projection and comparison, but it's like not thinking that everything is projection, not thinking that everything is comparison, that might just be you doing it. It might just be you. It's like you have to look at yourself inwardly, like you know, without a shadow of a doubt, some situations completely that, but it's like you have to look at yourself first and be like, wait a minute, was that person actually projecting or, you know, comparing themselves to me, or is it me taking their words and, you know, running about with it because I've been hurt before and I heard those words before, but it has nothing to do with you in the way that you think it does. And it's like we have to keep looking at ourselves. I know there's a scripture in the Bible that says that we have to look at
examine
examine ourselves. Exactly.
Yes.
And it's like, especially with situations as far as, you know, you can't spend too much time explaining to people what they don't want to hear. Or, you know, or if you have a situation where you're the one in the wrong, it's like you can't get upset at people for not wanting to spend time harping on a situation with you and they done explained it to you 10 million times and you're just not getting it, or you're just not hearing it. You know, it's like you can't get too upset with that person for being like, all right, okay, I put my hands up. I surrender this to God. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever, you know, whatever God does, God does.
Yes.
But that's the thing of, we have to always look at ourselves in situations before we look at, you know, what our
fingers.
Or our brothers are doing, whatever our, you know, our sisters in Christ are doing, whatever it is that we think, you know, they're doing, we have to look at ourselves and be like, wait a minute, am I doing it? But it's like, don't be so paranoid that you miss and that you're still, you know, you're still in a situation with a person who's, you know, who's actually is projecting, and then you're looking at yourself like, Dad, I'm projecting. No, it's done, boo-boo. But it's like, I would
like to put a spin on what Ka-Rin said. As far as examining yourself, I would like to put a spin on it, because you can go to your brother, like I said earlier, you can go to your brother and work it out and say, hey, what did you mean by that? It's okay to ask.
Yes.
Don't think you're weak because you're asking. Don't think, oh, I'm giving in too easily, or this person's going to think I'm too insecure. No, you are actually very strong when you ask, what do you mean by that? Or what did you mean by what you say? Right. Why would you say that? What did it mean?
Not in a defensive
way, but like a curious, like you're like, what do you mean? Because sometimes people don't always know what they mean, or if they do get defensive and they be like, I don't know, I was just saying what I was just saying, I was just spitting it out there.
That means
then they actually meant that was something that they, you know, they actually meant to offend you. Exactly.
They've been waiting.
But if they meant, well, sometimes you can get a little da-da-da-da-da. If they actually want to actually come to a resolve and, you know, fix a situation, have like, there's a solution to the problem that they have, apparently. One thing I've learned in life is that confrontation doesn't have to be bad. There's good confrontation and there's bad confrontation, especially if you want to move forward with anyone in your life. You always confront them. So recently, I'm going to give like a little story. So I recently just started confronting people, because I wasn't always a confronter. I would let things slide. So I would recently start confronting people. So I had this coworker on my job, and I noticed she was getting a little passive aggressive, which is, she was getting a little petty as far as she would start saying less. There was a time where we would have like great conversation, not great conversation, but she would always talk. She was bubbly, happy. Then she would all of a sudden just go mute.
I don't know, Can I do it? I'm fast and you're slow. That's how I did.
Right? And so I was confused one day. I said, why is she getting, mute and whatever, and things like that. So I confronted her. I said, hey, is there anything, that you need not to say, but is there anything bothering you? Is there anything that I've done towards you that that you didn't you feel the need to say, or and she was like, no. And I said, okay, there's nothing wrong. And then she goes, is there anything that you feel there's wrong? I said, well, yeah, but I wasn't afraid to confront her. But later on, I found out what the spirit was, because there was nothing absolutely wrong with my work ethic. I was catching on, really, and I was fairly new to, to the classroom. I'm not new to children, but just new to the classroom and the way they ran things in that time. But anyway, I caught on I learned really quick. I'm a quick learner, especially when I observe. I'm very observant. So if you see me just looking around, I'm looking just to see. I can see spirits. So I'm very observant. Right. I see dead people. But anyway.
I see dead people.
But yeah, I'm just looking, because I look at different personalities for, not for things in the room, but most of the time, and the Bible does say watch as well as pray. So I'm just looking, and I'm, but anyway, so I confronted her. And then after I said what I didn't like or what I thought needed fixing in our classroom, she came out the gate. But she only said one situation, which didn't make any sense to me. But my whole point is, not be afraid to confront, especially if, you are trying to move forward.
Sometimes the spirit of projection and comparison stems from jealousy, and it's not big-headed to say that somebody's jealous. It's not big-headed at all. We all have things that we all want from each other. Like for me, my sister, I look at my sister and I admire her soft-spokenness, and I admire her ability to be firm in softness. Like it's that's just who she is, and she's not afraid to be soft, and she's not afraid to be firm. And it's like, when I look at that, it's like, it's not the spirit of jealousy, right? Because it can turn into the spirit of jealousy if I wasn't secure. Yeah, that's the thing. It's you have to look at the security. You have to look at your security, and you have to look at other people's, their attributes, and be like, wow, how did they get there? Like, what, how did you get there? As in, like, what was your journey? Like, it's never, don't ask them, oh, what do you do to do this? Or what do you do to be this?
No, I love that.
It's like, it's a journey that people have to go through, and you're not going to be like everybody. You're not going to be X, Y, and Z like this person. You're not, it's that person's journey, and the Lord purposed into these people, purposed in that person that this is what they were going to be. Or if God says, okay, I'm going to use that, right? I'm going to use that part of you to make you into something else. And it's like, you don't have to start the way that you finish. You get what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to stay the same way that you were. Like, you could start off soft and then end up being hard, but not in a I'm closed off to the world way. It's like, now you're gaining that tough, outer shell. Or if you had that tough outer shell, now God's showing you that you need to be soft. You need to be pliable. You need to get it together. But it's like, I love that that concept of just not starting the way you finished. But yes, back to the spirit of jealousy. It's like, it's not always the spirit of jealousy. It's not always, it doesn't even have to be the spirit of jealousy when you're projecting and you're doing comparison, like you're comparing yourself. It's like, you don't have to start with that spirit. You can look at what people have, and you can be okay with not having that, or with wanting that. Be okay with wanting it, right? Be okay with wanting it. But it takes it a step further when you start, pushing yourself to the point where it's like, okay, I have to be like that. I have to do this. Oh, this person, you become obsessed with people like what you want to, you know, be like. It's like you become so obsessed that you push yourself into a place where it's like, now, dag, you beat yourself up so bad that now you realize you cannot be like that, especially without God. You cannot be like that. And now you're mad at the people that are like that. And you're like, dag, it's like, how do I tear them down? How do I make them feel like they shouldn't be like that? Just like I shouldn't be. Like, it's like, you have to look at yourself. Take a deep breath, boo-boo. Take a deep breath. It's not that serious.
Our generation doesn't really know better, because sometimes I feel like the generation before us they're not honest about what they went through. They just want to look like what we are today. And granted, this world is moving way too fast. So it's like they feel like they have to adopt really quickly. We got phones pushed in our face really quickly. The internet pushed in our face really quickly. We're scrolling. And then we don't eventually know what to do. We don't know how to address conflict. Right? Our solving problems, or problem solving, is shot in this whole generation, because we don't
know how to just go through life.
We don't know how to go through life.
We don't know healthy confrontation.
Exactly. But it goes back to what I just said, as far as the older generation. The older generation needs to step up and be honest and tell their stories of how they came over, not of how they came over last week about something so little. Like, what?
How did you get? Okay, this is the stuff that I've been wanting since I was little, because my mother was very candid about her testimony, as we said in the last video. But it's the stuff that I wanted from the adults in my life was, look, tell me your real raw. Like, you don't have to trauma dump on me.
No,
that's not what I'm asking. I'm saying, be real. Be real. Like, you know that this is what happened. How did you get over, I don't know, your abusive ex doing X, Y, and Z to you? How did you get past that situation? What were your thoughts? What did you do? Who did you go to?
The
what
mistakes
happened?
you made.
You know, exactly. Like, what is it that you guys did in order to get past it? It's like, you can't just be like, I was in this situation and Lord had me.
Don't do that, baby.
I get it. But
why not don't do it?
I think that's what our generation is. We need explanation. We're not a generation of do this, do that, you know, just because. And I'm not saying
very
that
logistical. We are so logistical, this generation. If you don't give me facts or you know, things like that, I'm just not gonna believe it. You know what I'm saying?
And that's not what I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But I'm saying that it's like it is a semi bad thing. It's not okay. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like the spirit of intellectualism can just creep in heavy with that. So it's like we have to tread the line, or not even tread the line. We have to be to the point where, because to be a Christian, you have to have a level of humility. To humble yourself enough to be like, I don't have all the answers. I don't have, you know, because
I will say for our generation, right? I would like to apologize on our behalf, but not really like. I ain't gonna say that, but like I'm saying, as far as not apologize, but to a certain extent, where we don't give the older generation time to even tell their story, because we feel like we know it all.
Or we feel like they had their whole lives to tell it. And it's like, it's like it's like that. We like to talk about generational trauma, right? As far as a generation, we like to talk about generational trauma. Like Gen Z, we like saying psychology topics. We like saying all of this good stuff. Like, oh, trauma. I'm breaking curses. Generational trauma, all this good stuff I'm breaking. Little do you know, you're doing the same thing as your parents, but different font. But anyways, it's a thing of, we like to say all of this good stuff, but we're not doing it, and we're not giving our parents the actual, not even just our parents, our grandparents, our sisters, cousins, the older generation, the millennials, the Gen X, all of that stuff. We're not giving them the space to understand what we already understand. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's like we understand generational trauma, right? We understand it. I'm going to say this much. It's like we understand to a certain extent, to our limited knowledge, we understand what it is, but we don't know how to really apply it to ourselves.
Yeah.
Other than, okay, my mom was a smoker, but I don't smoke. Yeah, but you still do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And your mom was
What
doing
else?
that too. Your grandma was doing that too. It's like you have to cut all of it out. But it's like we understand it, but we don't give our parents the grace. We only give ourselves the grace. And it's like we're such a me generation. And I don't want to come so hard down on us, but it's like, because this is literally my generation. This is literally my people. I literally am guilty of this stuff. It's like we come so hard on them about all of this, knowledge that we have now, but it's like we're beating on them, and they didn't have this knowledge in the way that we have.
They had to go through
what
it
I'm
and
saying?
experience
Exactly.
it.
They had to experience
live
it to learn it, and it's like, even then, did they get the right knowledge? Like they might have gone through that hurdle, gotten over that hurdle, but they didn't have the information that you did. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like jaywalking to get across the street, but this person is going through the light. Like you both got across the street, but that person jaywalked, could have got hit more, but you crossed the light, and it's like, I don't know how to explain that other than, you both got across the street. You both got the same result, as in you're better, but the equation, the equation, y'all got different equations. I mean, different equations, but the same answer. But it's like one equation was correct, and one was like, I mean, you did it, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's
Congratulations, you didn't.
It's like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it. But we just need to give room, and we need them to give us room as well.
Don't be afraid to express your boundaries. Don't be afraid to confront people, because confrontation isn't always bad.
Exactly.
It can be a beautiful thing.
Exactly. And honestly, I want to end it on saying that projection isn't always a bad thing. It's not a bad thing in most cases. It's like where you have a younger person who's, who doesn't know they're projecting onto you, and they're looking up to you, and they're projecting this image of, oh, you're cool to them, right? And then you finally show them like, hey, I'm not gonna side with you on half this stuff that you do. I'm not gonna, like, they're cussing around you thinking that you're gonna be cool with it, or they're smoking around you thinking that you're gonna be cool with it, and they're just doing things that's just not what you do, right? They're just breaking your boundaries to see what kind of adult you are. They might be projecting their image of what they want to be onto you. It's like people who project that are not always bad people. I've projected before. Like I've had an idea of what somebody was, or I had a thought of, dag, this person might think that, I'm trying to side with somebody, and I'm not. Like the story earlier that my sister told. It's like I've projected in that sense where I'm like, I think I know how this person feels, but I didn't even ask them. And then I feel like if I do ask them, it's opening up a can of worms that wasn't even, there's no worms in there. You're just opening up a can of emptiness. And it's like, okay, you just opened up something stupid and created those worms and put those worms in the can. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But anyways, it's getting across as it's not always, I've projected, right? I've projected. And I'm not saying that I've never done it in I'm not a bad person, or I'm just the best person, or I'm a good person, I'm a saint. No. It's like not everybody that projects is out to get you. Not everybody that projects is jealous of you. Not everybody that projects is somebody that you need to watch out for. Like, ooh, stay away from me. Like, calm down.
Yes.
Not everything is about you. It's like we have to look at projection as not our problem.
Yeah.
It is not our problem at all.
Give it to the Lord. That's
unless
all
we're the ones projecting, then it's our problem.
Yeah.
But it's like, exactly, give it to the Lord 100%.
That's the solution.
Ask the Lord.
Give you.
Exactly.
Give it to the Lord.
Ask the Lord. Be like, look, if I'm projecting, take it from me. Take it from me. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it's crazy because every time we get on here to do a video, our pastor literally confirms what we're about to speak about. And it's like so crazy because she on Wednesday she spoke about
How
it's not your fault the way people think. And it's like we had been thinking about this topic for 2 weeks. So it's just God confirming a lot of stuff. It's just God confirming a lot of stuff. So it's like whatever you hear from this video, it's like get on it. Eat it.
One thing I also one thing I also want to say about projection, right, is that sometimes it's not often like what Ka-Rin said, it's not about you. Sometimes people often hear what other people say about you and they take that and they run it because they don't know you as well as they think they do. So that is very crazy. So it's like it just goes back to what I said as far as just ask, just talk to me, just like if you think I'm gonna bite you, say I think you're gonna bite me.
If I do bite you, just know you said something stupid. But sorry, go ahead.
That's true. If I do bite you, but I just think you know, just take the time to ask. Even the most difficult, the people you think are difficult, because sometimes there are people who aren't as difficult as you think they are. But don't
just
always
ask for discernment.
Ask for discernment
because you might just be walking up to somebody who's waiting for this conversation. They might be waiting for it, and I don't want it to be
not
negative,
in a way like they're waiting to fight you, but they're waiting. No, I'm
talking about in that way. What? That's what I'm saying. Ask for discernment because you're about to go into a situation with somebody who's just not right in the head, and you should know. You know that this person's not right in the head.
I was thinking
you should have asked God for discernment. But then I'm gonna go on the positive note, like my sister. It's like you have to. It's like some people like they're just looking for you to be like, okay, come to them, talk to them, be an adult, mature about it. Be an adult.
What you over here being messy for?
Yeah, if we're living to live like Jesus, I think we should all study his life. Study how he handles people, how he talked to people, how he lived with people. Let's just study how Jesus lived because he was the one who was pleasing to God, right? In Matthew, after Jesus got baptized, the Lord, he said, "This is my son who I'm well pleased with." Right? So if God is pleased with Jesus, why can't we be like Jesus? And why can't we be pleasing to God? Let's live a life that is pleasing to God. Can we please? Especially if you have a relationship with the Lord, it shouldn't be hard.
You don't have to be perfect.
You don't. I'm learning that every day. You don't have to be perfect. The Lord, he loves your imperfections. He loves it because he wants to be able to fix it. He wants you to be able.
You might have accidentally waterboarded somebody. Let me stop.
We make mistakes. That's what Ka-Rin is just saying. We all make mistakes. All right. Well, this video is 43 minutes long and we have a couple of others. So we got a lot of editing to do.
Yes.
But we hope that you liked today's video. We hope that you took away a great deal of it. We hope that it was edifying and that, you know, you learned something from it. We hope that you just liked it.
Yeah.
Please don't be afraid to
hit that like button.
Oh gosh, I hate saying that. She can say that.
Hit the notification button.
Comment.
Send
your your comments, because we would love to hear what you guys have to say. We would love to just ask us questions and we will not be afraid to answer them. We will try to answer as best as we can.
We will try, yes.
But yeah.
Yes.
And
this was
Raise the Standard. Whoa.